So what do you do when your favorite pattern designer's having a birthday? You celebrate with them. Stay tuned for how you can earn a pattern giveaway. Hi, this is Kim from Dorothy's Daughter. Welcome to my channel. If you want to take your sewing to the next level, this is the place to be. So as you know, I am a Love Notions ambassador, which means what that means is that through my content, I kind of promote the patterns. So I'll get that part out of the way. All right. So I do have a giveaway going this week for a free Love Notions pattern, and I'm going to give you the details on that in a moment. On Friday, I posted a video that was a lot of detail about sergers. So today I'm going to show you some practical parts. So I love t-shirts. I love t-shirts. I love my Cricut. I love to put positive messages on my t-shirts. And that is just what I like to wear, especially in these trying times. That's what I wear around the house. So I like to have the t-shirts to put the designs on. What I have figured out is that it is faster to make a classic tee from Love Notions than it is to run to the store and buy a t-shirt from Hobby Lobby. So with that thought, I thought that a perfect serging exercise would be to sew a classic tee. It's also perfect timing because Love Notions is having their birthday sale. Everything on their site, except the glissando that was just released, is 40% off for the entire week. It ends on Friday. So I'm going to post a video this week featuring a different Love Notions pattern each day this week. So what I would like you to do to enter the giveaway is to comment on as many of the videos as you like. You can comment once on each video or just once on one video. But if you comment on each of the 5 videos, you'll have 5 entries. At the end of the week, I'm going to throw all those entries into a randomizer and choose a winner for a free Love Notions pattern. So, but meantime, you can order from their site this week for 40% off. They do not have a Black Friday sale, so this will be the last sale of the year. So it's time to start that Christmas sewing anyway. If you wait till Black Friday, you'll be busy. So start now. Anyway, I am featuring the classic tee today because it's probably my favorite. It's a toss between the laundry day tee and classic tee. But since I love to wear t-shirts and I love to put things on them, I really love to just make the t-shirts. And that way they fit. And they're also less expensive and I don't have to run and get one. So this t-shirt we are making today, I'm doing all the serging so that you can see the serger in action. So I'm showing you how I did every bit of this, except for I have not top stitched or hemmed anything yet. So for the hem and the top stitching, if you have not watched my easy neckbands video and my 5 ways to hem knits video, that's where you should go to gain information about that. But this information is mostly so that you can see what a cool pattern this is and also get a little practice with serging. So with that, I'm going to go straight to the other view and show you how I put this together. The first step to start to serge this project is going to be to make sure that the differential feed and tension are where we need it to be. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to sew a little line here and see where we're at. I have it set on the default for this machine at this moment. Let's go along here and see how we are. Let's sew off here. Okay, so the differential feed looks a little bit wavy and it's going to be really hard for you guys to see, but what I want is the upper looper and the bottom looper to meet right at the edge of this fabric which it appears really pretty good. Okay, so but this differential feed needs to be addressed. So it's gone through a little slower than I would like it to because it's buckling. So what I want to do is speed that up just a little bit. The differential feed depends on how fast those little feed dogs feed the fabric into the machine. Okay, so let's sew another scrap here and see how we are with the differential feed. I've increased it to 1.5 from the normal setting. The normal setting is about 1.0. Let's see where we are with this. Okay, that looks pretty good. Let's do just a little bit more. Let's try this. And you're going to do this with every new fabric. Yeah, this is much better I have it almost at 2, which I'm going to just see here. A little bit more. Yes, that's much, much better. Okay, so I have it on 2, which is a little bit faster than it would normally go through. And that all just depends on your fabric. So some fabrics are going to be right at the normal spot and some are going to be needing to increase or decrease. Okay, step 1 for your classic tee, you have it all cut out. I'm not going to go over that because we've done that in other videos. Okay, so the first step is the shoulder seams. And, okay, so I have both of the shoulder seams pinned. For the shoulder seams, it's good to use something to stabilize the shoulder seams because you don't want those to stretch all out on you and whatnot. Now, I use one of 2 things. I either use clear elastic or sometimes I just cut the selvage off of like quilt cotton because it's really kind of like twill tape then. But I do not have any left of that, so I'm going to use this clear elastic. It's going to cut a couple generous pieces here. This is just the same clear elastic that I've shown you on everything, okay? Exercise your elastic a little bit always before you use it. Okay? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of let that elastic go off the end there a little bit because I don't want it to not catch. So I'm going to go ahead and put the pin right through it so it stays where it needs to be. All right, seam allowances are a little weird, especially on this particular serger. So if you take a ruler and measure for the 3/8 seam, be just about there. And if you go from the left needle, okay, so that it's just about right to just line it up here. See, you can, with this serger, you can increase or decrease the stitch width this way. So I just do it until it lines up with the left needle. So the left needle is right here, right where the 3/8 mark is. And the guide is right here. So that will work out really well. So I'm just going to want to use this line to feed my fabric. So lift the presser foot up and make sure both the elastic and the shirt piece go underneath. You don't put it under there too much, just enough to make sure it grabs. And then take out the first pin because you don't want to sew over pins. Hopefully you remember that from the last video. I stressed not to sew over pins. And so I'm just going to go ahead. You don't want to stretch this elastic because it'll pucker your thing. Just let it go as is. Because you don't want your seam to pucker. Okay, then just go ahead and cut that off. And I'm going to trim the elastic down to the edge. And that'll just keep it from stretching out over time. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing with this side. All right, I'm going to go ahead and put this underneath. I'm going to remove this pin. Take out the pins before you get to the blade. Don't forget that. That is very, very important. All right, and just go ahead and cut your threads. Go ahead and trim that elastic right down to the edge of the fabric. Okay, so there you have your 2 shoulder seams. Now you're going to go over to the iron and just press these shoulder seams down. We're ready to sew our sleeves on next. So here is the shoulder seam of one of them. All right, you're going to take your sleeve and find the right side and line up right sides together. Okay. Quick reference is that the side that goes up the highest is the front. Okay. So you're going to go ahead and find the center. And you're going to go ahead and line that up with the shoulder seam. Right sides together. All right. And then you're going to go ahead and, I like to use clips for this, but you can use pins if you like. You go ahead and you line up the underarm portion. All right, then I usually go, because on the curve it doesn't need to ease, like on the curve underneath your arm. So I go up about 2.5, 3 inches and put another pin without doing any easing or stretching or anything. All right, same thing on this side. I'm going to go ahead and clip. And then go in 2 or 3 inches and clip again. And then the same thing goes here. The ease that you're going to do is going to be between those 2 points. Okay? I'm going to do the same thing with the other side. These really can go together so quickly. If I wasn't recording this and filming and moving my camera around and all that stuff, I could have one of these done in an hour easily. I like to do my Cricut designs on shirts, so I could make a t-shirt actually quicker than I could drive to Hobby Lobby and buy one. So as long as you have fabric stash, just make your own. It's a lot less expensive and the fit is going to be right. Okay, I'm going to go over to the serger now and serge in the sleeves. So I'm going to go ahead and serge these with that 3/8 seam allowance again. Like I said, 3/8 is, on this one, is just from the left needle position to the guide right here. Every serger is going to be a little bit different. This one is particularly difficult with seam allowances. Not really sure why they did not mark it on here. I love everything about this serger except for that. But there's a way around it. So I'm going to go ahead, I like feeding a little bit under the presser foot, because if you don't, then it's just always, it ends up uneven. Okay, just going to go to this first clip, because remember, there's really not Not any stretching or easing until you get to that point. Okay, now you're going to ease this sleeve around this curve of this armhole. So you're going to kind of, now what I like to remember is I don't want to just stretch everything because that can cause puckering. What I do is I just stretch slightly the sleeve to go around that curve. And I let it take the curve. Don't try to make it straight. Okay, so I'm going to hold this out and I'm going to go ahead and let that all take the curve together. It's stopping and starting, however many times you have to do it. And I think I told you yesterday to always make sure you only have the layers under there that you want to be sewing and cutting, because that is a terrible, terrible thing to happen. If you get an extra something under there, it'll get cut and it might not be something good. So you better, and like I said, take the pin out before it gets to this blade. This blade, if that gets trapped right there, it's awful to try to get it out. Okay, now I'm going to do that same kind of easing here. So you're kind of taking a concave thing and putting a convex thing into it, those of you who are math junkies, or geometry junkies. It's great to teach your kids geometry. When will I ever need this, Mom? Well, sewing. And you just keep going. You notice it kind of took a second to get over the jump where the extra elastic was in the shoulder seam. That's completely normal. Just keep it going. If you need to assist it just a little bit, it's okay. Depending on your serger, it could sail over it or it could struggle. And remember, I'm keeping the seam allowance lined up right here. Making sure that that underpiece is always on the edge and that you're not like missing it anywhere. All right, I'm going to go ahead and take this clip out. I have one sleeve put in very nicely. All right, let's do the other one. All right, I have both sleeves put in. I'm going to go over and I'm just going to press these, and I will get my neckband ready. That will be the next step. Okay, now the neckband. We want to put right sides together. And we're just going to serge that seam there in the back. Alright, so if you've been watching my videos, then you know that I have a little three-part thing that I want everybody to remember about sewing knits, and that is the key to successfully sewing knits is knowing when to stretch, when not to stretch, and to have a stitch that stretches with it. So in this case, you know, the serger seams always stretch. That's great. And, you know, when you're doing a seam like this, you're not going to stretch. There are certain times when you do need to stretch, and that would be like when applying the neckband and that kind of thing. So I'm going to go over and I'm going to go ahead and quarter this neckband as per directions. If you have not watched my knit neckband video, go watch it now, because I'm not going to go over all those steps. Okay, I just want to show you how I do the serging, because I believe I showed you on the sewing machine in that video. So just go ahead, and if you're confused about neckbands, please go watch that. I will link it up in the corner, and then come back to this. All right, I have pressed that neckband piece, quartered and clipped the neckband in all the way around to the neckline. And like I said, please refer to my knit neckband video for an explanation of that if you don't know how to do it. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and slide this under here close to the back. And I'm just going to, now the key to doing neckbands on the serger, or on a sewing machine for that matter, is that you want to stretch the band, but you don't stretch the shirt, okay? So let me go ahead and get this started. Okay, so now what we're going to do, we're going to keep the shirt there, and we're just going to stretch this to go around. And if you have to stop and start, it's okay. However much you need to do that, just to make sure that only those 3 layers are going under that needle and getting cut by that blade. Okay. When you get to, when you're curving, what you do is kind of let it curve and just stretch this neckband to go along that curve. So don't try to fight the curve by stretching it. Just stretch the neckband to fit it. And it shouldn't be any puckering or anything, because we have not stretched the shirt. Last pass here. All right. I'm going to leave enough of a tail that I can bury this thread tail, as I showed you before. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and just bury these threads in the stitches. I did show you that in part 1 if you missed any of that. I'm going to go ahead and do the side seams, and that includes the sleeve. So I always put a horizontal pin where the join is. I line these up really carefully. Then I put a pin in there. And that is the only time I will use a horizontal pin in serging. Go ahead and use clips for the rest of this then. But I really want to make sure that those 4 points come together and don't get missed. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and sew this side seam. Okay, now I don't want that pin to reach that blade, so I'm going to pull it out, but I'm going to hold this really firmly where those 2 things are. where those two sides are. I don't want that joint to get moved. Okay? And once you're past it, it's a breeze. All right, I'm going to do the same with the other side. Okay, so I have my t-shirt. Basically, I just need to hem sleeves and bottom as desired and top stitch the neckline. So I hope that helped you understand how you can use your serger. It really is such a time saver, and you know, you end up with seams that will stretch with the fabric. So much more durable. It will last you probably at least 3 times longer than if you sew it with a even a narrow zigzag. So definitely do not be afraid. So many people commented how they're afraid of their serger. Don't be afraid. They are awesome. They're just a machine and you're bigger. They can only do what you tell them to do. So just jump right in there. And if you haven't seen the first serging video, please watch that. Be sure to catch the other knit videos that I have in this series as well. Well, go ahead and comment today and then every day this week, and you will have more entries into the giveaway. I will draw the giveaway at our chat on Sunday. Have a great day. Don't forget to get your Love Notions wish list out there. You can use my affiliate link that's down below. I'd really appreciate that. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you tomorrow.
What?
Say it.
Subscribe to channel.
Okay, thank you.